Tell us about the first meeting with George Lucas. What's he like, and what did you talk about?
I don't remember. I remember my first, once I had the job, I remember I had to go to the studios in Watford. They're north of London, and they're where they shot all the Harry Potter movies, and it's now like an attraction. I think you can go there and see Harry Potter World. But
Yeah.
when we worked there, it was an old factory and it wasn't really a film studio yet. And they took over because it's an enormous thing, Star Wars. So they took it over, and I remember going there, meeting George, and being allowed to read the script. I had to read it in the producer's office, like literally being almost locked in with the script, so that it didn't get leaked. And then being shown round the sets with George and walking around. And I remember there was this great big submarine thing that I end up in with Liam and Jar Jar Binks, Ahmed Best. And I remember looking at these props, these art department guys sort of carving this huge polystyrene thing into the submarine, and there was a cockpit. And I looked at it, I went, "Oh, will we go under?" And he looked at me and went, "What?" I said, will we go underwater in it?" And he looked at me like I was insane. He said, "Is none of it real, And I went, "Oh, yeah."
Because a lot of it's done with blue screen, right?
Well, there was more and more blue screen as we went along. The first one I remember more sets, and there was like environments to work in, and as we got into episode 2 and 3, they moved the shoot to Australia, and we were shooting them in Australia in the studio there in Sydney. And by that point, it became more and more blue screen and green screen. And so, and I thought it was a shame. In the first one, I worked with Yoda, like he was on set. Frank Goz, I think, was operating him with this team of people, and I had scenes with Yoda. It was amazing. Like, it's like working with a star that you've known all your life. And you're like, working with Yoda today, and it was easy to work with him. He was like a good actor. And when he said cut, you'd be really in the moment with Yoda, and then they would go cut, and all the puppeteers would stop. So Yoda would be like, just suddenly die. And it was sort of upset. You'd always go, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And then by episode 2 and 3, he was, and R2-D2 was the same way, was computer generated. And it was a shame not to be sort of
You've
working with
avoided
the real thing.
those sort of big, massive studio projects where people kind of get lost to special effects. Is that by choice? 'Cause, I mean, when I think of there's so many great films. The Impossible, which I love.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? Oh my goodness! And we were trying to find a great clip from it, but we would have had to lose one of these. But it's an amazing film. And Beginners, they're very human dramas.
Yes.
Do you prefer those personally when you go and see a movie or something?
I mean, I do. I would tend to be drawn to independent cinema as a viewer, probably more than the big blockbuster. I'm not really a blockbuster. I'm not a member of that audience, really. I'm not a superhero fan. I don't go and see. I don't see those films. I'm not interested. I'm sure they're great, and I know that people like them, and that's great. But I like. I've always liked. As an actor, I'm drawn to exploring how we are as human beings in given situations, and how we act and how we react, and what makes us tick. And it's sort of more interesting to me that that's a realist, and it doesn't matter. It could be a period film, or it doesn't matter to me when it's set. But there's something about just the sort of human beings and how we are that interests me. And in my work, I've done bigger movies, and I do now and again. I mean, I don't get offered lots of them. It's not like I avoid them in that I turn down, like, no, tell them to go away with their big offer. No, it's not really that I do that. I just don't. They don't come to me readily. And the ones I've done, it's just a different ball game. I've enjoyed them very much. I liked the film I made with Michael Bay, The Island.
Yeah.
I thought it was an interesting film. I feel like it didn't get. I think it was time for Michael Bay to get drubbed by the press after his film Before Hours. So it was a shame that I think our film suffered for that a little bit, but because I think it's quite a good film, The Island, and I've done bigger stuff, but yeah, I think my home is in that sort of independent, sort of the part of the part of cinema that's disappeared is where I lived.
Right.
That sort
I
of
mean, it's kind of
mid-budget,
right.
you know, drama.
Yeah,
I
human
suppose
drama.
that's what I'm known for.